Quarter time at a sparkling, spotless stadium, and it's the visitors by 17 points. The Bombers 5-2-32. They lead it by 17 points. GWS 2-3-15. GWS, well, they haven't tasted victory for over a month, and after the good form that the Bombers brought in from last week, this seems at this stage not to be a flash in the pan as I turned to the 220-game dual Australian Nathan Brown for all the Triple M Boston stats.
Yeah, GWS had 5 more disposals and 1 more inside 50 in that quarter. They went at 78% by foot, so look, it was an open, free-flowing game that GWS didn't capitalise on their opportunities. Cornelio has had 10 disposals and 4 clearances. Heath Shaw, 8 disposals, 254 metres gained, Heath Shaw, in one quarter. Whitfield and Hopper both have 7 apiece. While for the Bombers, Heppel had 9 to go with 5 clearances in that first quarter. 5 clearances in a quarter, that's pretty big. Goddard and McKenna, 8 apiece. Welfie and Merritt, 7. 2 goals to Bagley, the first 2 goals of the game. Fantasia, McGrath and Langford, all goals in general play to the Bombers, all goals on the run, either snaps or on the run, and goal scorers for Dylan Buckley and also Ryan Griffin for the Giants. So it was quarter dominated early by the Bombers and how much space they had. They had GWS come back. They had a really good 10-minute period where they probably didn't capitalise on their opportunities. But the tackle count for me says it all. 16 tackles in that 19 tackles in that first quarter to 13. They just allow Essendon to have too much free space.
For Bob Jane T-Mart's a man boundary side with his beak over the fence and his eagle eyes wide open. Luffy.
Yeah, Brownie, you mentioned the clearances that were going Essendon's way. Well, Leon Cameron sprinted straight out and he pulled all the midfield together. There was a lot of pointing. There was certainly a lot of angry words said there to lift in this second quarter.
Troy Laugh, boundary side. Nathan Brown on Triple M Seabus Super Special comments. Liam Flanagan and Brad Seymour calling all the action for the Big Mac. Triple M Rocks footy. We are underway in the second term. The Bombers with a 17-point lead. It's near the Giants forward 50 at the moment. Cameron comes out. Shield wanted a handball over the top to Langdon. The handball was affected. Cornelio off the ground. Hopper back to Ward, and he's just going to dump it inside 50. Langdon tried to body Heppel. Himmelberg's at the 4 of the footy, and it'll spill over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
So early exchanges, second term for the Big Mac. Triple M Rocks footy. A few Essendon supporters have piled into the southern end here at Spotless. They'd be happy with their boys in the first term. 5-2-32. They lead the Giants 2-3-15. Ball spins back into play in the forward pocket. Just getting a little bit of room was Taranto. High up and under ball. Infringement in the marking contest. And it'll be a free kick going which way, Brownie?
It's
Haynes?
Yeah.
So GWS free kick about 55 from home.
Nick Haynes had a bit of running repairs to the ankle. According to our man Luffy, he's going to drop it to 15 metres out. It wasn't on the goal line, which will please Brownie. Quick hands came from Hopper. Sheila around the body. Had neither the radar or the insight to handball backwards to Hopper, who was waiting. It's through for a behind. So the margin back to 16 points on the Triple M Beaumont Toll scoreboard in favour of the Bombers.
Goddard grabs a new one out of the bag and just a dinky little kick sideways to Ambrose. So Ambrose in the southern back pocket. Broadcast side, a western side here at Spotless. He drives it long. Stewart, well, he had 2 bites at the cherry, left it behind. A little loopy handball was trying to engage Stephen Cornelio. The ball went out of play and we'll get a throw in. Pretty similar spot to where it was thrown in only 30 seconds ago.
Brownie, Dylan Shield had a Ben Jacobs-sized shadow last week. Is anyone running with him tonight?
No. He's him and Zach Merritt going head-to-head.
Freewheeling, as you said. Shake hands at the beginning and I'll see you at full time.
The best way to play.
McKernan, did they keep pressure stats when you were playing, Brownie?
No, I don't think so, which is probably a good thing.
Good thing for you, yeah. Here he is, Merritt. He's off the leash. Shield nowhere to be seen. Gives it to BJ Goddard, who almost got hunted down by Langdon. He needs a bounce and skid. He's got the bounce, he's got the skid, he's got the goal. BJ Goddard. He's kicked that from 70. It's rolled the final 20, and the Bombers get the first of the second term. They move to 6-2-38. It's now a 22-point margin over the Giants on the Triple M Beaumont Toll scoreboard.
Again, I've spoken about it a fair bit. It's just a distinct lack of pressure around when the Bombers have the footy. There's an intent for GWS to win the footy at the coalface when everybody's in a little packed area. But if they don't win it, then it's just an easy footy for the Bombers. I mean, it's almost whoever wins it is going to go forward and do some damage. If GWS win it, the Bombers are still putting pressure on them, so it's just all one-way traffic at the moment.
Just Triple M Seabus Super special comments. Seabus Super for everyone in building and construction. So the visitors by 22 points for the Big Mac. Triple M Rocks footy. Good bounce. Lob gets his big left paw to it, just taps it down. Taranto hard in off the wing, stolen by Merritt. A little dinky little kick towards half forward. Merritt leaves it behind. Merritt goes round the body again, bounce off the chest. Coming through now is Heathshaw. Gets an errant kick towards halfback. They're still not out of jail. Here the Giants. Pressure is immense from Essendon as they try to clear towards centre wing.
Hopper 50-50 to Himmelberg and D near side, right in front of the interchange gates. Dev Smith is swamped by his former teammates. Somehow got a handball out to Langford. He's sold Merritt into some trouble. Handball backwards to Shield, and the Giants will look to go to the outer side.
Yeah, just hemmed in too. They've pushed back quickly in transition, the Bombers. That's clever. So it comes out wide to Core. Showed too much of it over the top to Ambrose. Coming now, Lob. He's clobbered in a good tackle. They call play on. Bell Chambers and Ambrose got him.
Outstanding pressure again from the Bombers. You said you didn't know how he got out of this tackle here. Three of them tackled him, but he still got out of it. And then Dylan Shield had the ball at centre half back with the whole ground in front of him. Still had to go back over his mark because the Bombers have been able to push him back.
38 plays, 16. Essendon in control. They win it off half back to Goddard.
Dumps it down the line. Wants McKernan. He's not going to get to it, and it goes over the boundary line for a throw-in. 22 points the margin in favour of the Bombers. Early stage of second term for the Bob Jones teammates, Troy Luff.
You mentioned about Nick Haynes' ankle. When he had that kick about 5 minutes ago, Liam, he really pulled up sore from his face, grimaced. I watched him just run past me. Every step he took, he's in pain. So there may be a little bit of a painkiller at half-time needed.
At this point, it should come as no surprise that the Giants have got another injury to worry about. Feels like half their list is in the rehab room at the moment. Centre wing out of side. Wrapped up in a tackle is Hopper. We're going to have a ball up. The margin 22 points in favour of the Bombers.
It was Heppel and Zach Merritt really set the scene last week. They've done it again, Brownie.
Yeah, they have. I reckon Dyson Heppel's had a really good month. Even when they had those 2 bad weeks and they lost to Carlton, I thought his presence in the media was really strong.
What's happening at Geelong, please, Liam?
Margin 9 points in favour of the Cats. Early stages, second term.
So disputed ball. Centre wing out of side. Bodies clashing in, throwing themselves in. Tippin Woody was taking out the ball. Surely he'll get a free kick. No, said the umpire. He just lets them play. Says rip in, boys. Comes to Whitfield now. Got a little bit of time and space. Delivers beautifully to Patton. And Big John Patton marks 45 out directly in front southern end.
When they get out of that pressure zone that the Bombers are putting on, I mean, the game does open up and they can use their skill level, but just at the moment, the Bombers aren't allowing this too often. It's a 22-point margin purely because this has been rare, this run through the middle, sort of Lockie Whitfield didn't have much pressure, and John Patton one-on-one, you're always going to mark that because the pressure wasn't there.
Spoke to the co-captain before the bounce. He was pretty bullish of the performance of John Patton tonight after going back to the twos, sucking up and doing well. On the runway now, 45 out to the southern end. He's missed near side. 2-5-17 Giants. Bombers in control, 6-2-38 as we cross 6-minute mark, second term, Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
There's some easy ones, the Giants now.
Wayne Carey said once the rub this afternoon that Jonathan Patton's career was at a crossroad. Spent 2 weeks in the reserves. That would have been a perfect confidence boost. He missed it, though. Long down the middle go the Bombers. Spoil from behind came from Lob. It's back inside the Giants forward 50. Cal Ward somehow got a kick out of the pack. Good foil from Himmelberg. Coming through at pace off the deck was Langdon. And out of nothing, the Giants get something. They move to 3-5-23, although I think the field umpire just having a conversation with the goal umpire. We're going to get another Triple M Coates High score.
What I think you'll find is it went that quick off the boot because he kicked it out of mid-air pretty much like a soccer half volley. Went that quick. I don't think the goal umpire had enough time to get over and see whether it went through or whether it was a goal or not. So he just wants to check with the video, which is fair enough too. It is going to be a goal, but good call from the umpire just to make sure.
So the margin, once this one gets approved, will be back to 15 points on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
This part takes too long. 10 seconds ago, we could have told off the screens that was a goal, and it's taken another 10, 20. So we've wasted now 24, 25 seconds.
And there you have it. It is confirmed as a goal on the Triple M Coates High score review. The margin back to 15 points. I beg your pardon. 15 points in favour of the Bombers. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. It's Beaumont's Trade Club for Australia's best tradie rewards.
Cornelio up to 14 disposals and 5 clearances. Zach Merritt is 11 along with Dyson Heppel. They have 10 clearances between them, those two at the moment.
So 6-2 to 3-5. 8 minutes, second term for the Big Mac. Triple M Rocks footy. Don't forget the new Grand Big Mac is available at McDonald's after 10:30 for a limited time. So a few people in the lower decks. Luffy was predicting a crowd north of 10,000. He might have got just that this evening. So 15 points now. Good bounce. Lob elevates. Right paw to the footy. Just taps it to 3 o'clock. Dev Smith in hard early. Heppel trying to shovel the footy out. It spits out now. Hopper just dives on it first. Working furiously back in there was Lob. Bell Chambers. Heppel. They're all in there. McGrath. And a bit of a stalemate.
So I've just noticed the GWS have got a player behind the footy now with Heath Shaw, because Essendon got so many easy goals over the back in that first quarter. Heath just standing 30 metres out from Essendon's goal on his own.
Langdon came sprinting through, got the kick to centre half forward, but a mark going back with a flight taken by D.
Yeah, Goddard's the other one, the +1 at the other end, Liam.
D, short kick to Zaharaka. So both teams opting to play a loose man in defence.
They've got to use him right here, right now. They've got Sard, western side. He works it to Heppel. He can go to Goddard. He's hemmed in now, so forced to go long down the line. Heath Shaw is the +1. Falls over, loses his feet. Pushed in the back. Play on's the call. Is it a free kick? I think it is. I think they got the second one. It'll go to Rory Lobb at halfback for GWS.
There's an art to play loose man in defence. There's a really easy way to do it and get 35 disposals, or there's a really good way to do it and really make your team advantageous from your possessions.
Whitfield got torched by his direct opponent Bagley in that first quarter. He kicked the first 2 of the game on him. He's tightened up since, which he had to. The ball's at left half back in the hands of Himmelberg. He's going to bring a dangerous kick in board, a good kick, as you heard Brownie call. Perryman outside to Cameron, and they're on some space here.
There was a low dart to Cameron, not his best kick. He went round the body and it was errant at best, really. He demanded Cornelio come to him, bounced in front of him, went out of play half forward. So we'll get a throw in. 6-2-38 Bombers, 3-5-23 Giants. Middle stages, second term. Ball spins back into play now. Bill Chambers works well to the front to Dev Smith. He gallops clear, gets his left side. Buntine marks low down. Just backward to centre wing, Broadscar side.
Buntine goes 40 metres defensive, finds Heath short. He goes to the switch and finds Tomlinson. And he worked it across the ground to Dylan Buckley, who kicked the Giants first of the game, the former Carlton player. Finds the logo and hits Taranto. He's had a good start to his second year of footy, has Tim Taranto.
A bit funny seeing a Carlton player come to GWS, isn't it? They all go to Carlton.
Yeah, it's a rare occurrence, you're right, Brownie, as the Giants move inside 50. The wrestle on in the goal square, Dev Smith v Kelly. Dev Smith wins out. Oh, he'll enjoy that against his former teammate.
Yeah, and from the back pocket, he chooses the outer side.
That was a huge one-on-one to win by Devon Smith. Absolutely huge, because Josh Kelly had worked him to the side of the ball and he wanted the ball to roll on, and it would have been an open goal. Devon Smith stood his ground, really good strength through his quads and his backside, was able to stand up and win the footy.
So 15 points to the visitors. Middle stages, second quarter. Disputed ball. Bob Jane T. Marts. Luffy come in.
Yeah, boys, you can see a real bad smoke haze coming across the oval at the moment. They've been doing a lot of back burning in the northern parts of Sydney, and the wind has actually drifted here. You can actually taste it in the breath. It is that thick.
I thought you might have been down there just having a couple of Virginias.
Yeah, there's a couple of us doing that, yeah.
Just looking out for the asthma sufferers is Luffy as the GWS go forward, and just outpointing Cameron on that occasion was Hooker. He goes back into the middle, corridor ball, Goddard. He wants to get on with things. Sweeping handball to McKenna. He can run. Look at this, a little chip, a little 9-9 style. He sure cut it off in the middle. He read it like a preschool book. Delivers to Cameron. And Cameron marks 30 out, 45-degree angle, southern end.
Yeah, that was amazing. So to set it up, the ball was a little chip in the middle. The mark was taken. He sure knew his opponent was going to dish the handball off to the runners at the right time. He just went and he took it. If he had missed it, though, they were out the whole way. So it was all duck or no dinner, and he did it beautifully, Heath Shaw.
So Cameron, what has he kicked? 21 from his 8 games so far. on the runway now. He waltzes in, he's paid to deliver, and he does just that. So Cameron gets his first of the evening. Margin slimming ever so dearly. The Bombers 6-2-38. The Giants move to 4-5-29 on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
He read it like a preschool book.
They're pretty easy to read, Brownie.
They are very easy to read, but great play by Hushaw. Maybe the turning point that they need. Jeremy Cameron, I don't think he's worked overly hard. He's got 2 goals. He's very dangerous when he gets on the end of it, but particularly in this quarter so far, I reckon they've lifted the Giants. They've lifted their running. They've had the best part of this quarter so far. As I bring up the second quarter stats, and it is plus 14 in disposals at the moment. Inside 50s are 7-2. Still, the Bombers are double in the tackles, 14-7, but the clearance is 6-4 in favour of the Giants' way.
Triple M Bosch Tools stats. Bosch power tools and accessories. Good, better Bosch. The Giants, an important goal, get the margin to 9 points. They're still 9 points adrift of the Bombers. Cale Hooker has it at right half back. Jimmy Stewart, who's borderline been unsighted in this game against his former side, as the ball goes over the boundary line out of side. James Stewart, Brownie, how's he tracking in this game? He was good last week, but haven't seen a lot of him tonight.
Yeah, just the 2 disposals for Jimmy Stewart. 1 kick, 1 handball. Hasn't done a hell of a lot.
So 9 points in it now. Bombers 38, Giants 29. They throw it in. Out of side, centre wing. Lob, that was clever. Got the ball to the back. Kelly to swoop on it, just puts his left slipper into it, gets it to half forward in a flash. Disputed ball, Hooker down low, he was clean, that was clever. He uses Ambrose, and now the speedster inside. He lays it on the turf once, buys himself a little bit of time, and just waits the kick perfectly. And Zaharagas marks just backward as centre wing.
Merritt has it centre wing commentary side.
And no run from behind here.
The Bombers kicking to the left of your radio dial. Liam Flanagan, Brad Seymour calling all the action. Nathan Brown on the Triple M Seabus Super Special comments. And Matt Buntine takes a pretty easy mark. His kick, flirted with the boundary line, but finds Ryan Griffin, the former dog.
He'll add the 3 disposals, Matty Buntine, but he's taken a couple of telling marks in this quarter now.
So Griffin with it now. 9 points to the visitors. Griffin from half back. Right near the boundary line. Drives it. Oh! Cameron elevates. He didn't bring it down. Fantasia put him in a good tackle. Oh, the crowd on the western side didn't like it. They wanted him to be paid the mark. Let's get a look at it, Chemist Warehouse. No, dropped the ball on the way down. So, ball in dispute. Heppel goes round the body, gains about 20 metres for his club. Down low is Heathshaw. Sitting on him was Stringer. And we'll get a ball up at centre wing. So, full scoreboard, 6-2-38 Bombers. 4-5-29 GWS, Triple M Beaumont Tile style.
Patton v Bell Chambers. Shield, clever handball over the top, releases Kelly. He's on his non-preferred right, but that is a beautiful drop punt. If it gets a bounce and roll, it does, but it just went to the right-hand side, and Ambrose escorts it over the boundary line. For a behind, the margin now back to 8 points for all the Bombers' dominance, Brownie. They only lead by 8 points on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Yeah, they've stopped in the early part of this quarter, but GWS have definitely improved their output at the moment. But look, the Bombers have still got control at the moment. It only takes 1 goal going back the other way to restore a 3-goal margin.
McKenna chooses western side, Stringer on hands and knees, handball cut off by Tomlinson, spiral, torpedo to the forward pocket. That's a good mark taken, is it? No call to play on. It's been touched. Buckley walks out of play. Well, he stopped, thinking he'd taken the mark. And he walked out of play. So the boundary umpy said, yep, that's mine. You're out of play, so I'll toss it back in.
Let's have a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. That's a mark for mine. I can't believe the umpire was right there. It's a pretty poor decision.
Might have been touched off the boot as the boundary throwing occurs. Kelly starting to get busy is Josh Kelly, although he's turned it over here. The Giants boys looking to put a bit of hurt on Dev Smith after he sat Dylan Buckley on his backside. Patton racks up Ambrose. The ball's come out to Cornelio. Around the body, Stephen Cornelio, if you don't mind. That's a huge goal. The Giants move to 5-6-36, just 2 points behind the Bombers, 6-2-38. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Well, without Stephen Cornelio, I'm not sure where they'd be at the moment, the GWS Giants. 17 disposals. He's laid 4 tackles out of 22. 6 clearances. Now he's kicked a goal. They've dominated possession in this quarter, the Giants. They've been all over the Bombers. 58 disposals to 42 at the moment. The inside 50 numbers are 11-2. Now the Bombers could need an answer. They've been really good so far, the Bombers, but all of a sudden, away from home, the Giants have kicked the last 3 goals in a row to bring the margin back to 2 points. Now you look to Heppel. Now you look to Zaharakis. Now you look to Goddard to settle them, just to start to slow the ball down. It's being a fast game right now. Maybe the Bombers, this is a moment where they just start to chip it around, get the ball back in their hands, get it back on their terms.
And Triple M Bosch Tool Stats, Bosch Power Tools and Accessories, good, better Bosch. So Essendon, they go forward here. No one can mark. Ball in the grass. Bagley tracking it. Coming through full-chested. Did really well was Ward. He forced it his way. Won the footy at half-back. Sweeps the handball wide. He's got Whitfield with him. So Whitfield goes long down the line towards half-forward.
Goddard went back with courage. Buckley took the footy. He's wrapped up by Sard. Good tackle there by Adam Sard. Stopped another inside 50 for the Giants. And Sard will take the free kick right half-back as this smoky haze from the back burning that Luffy spoke about. It's like there's a 21st going on with a smoke machine, Brownie.
So they're a little bit stagnant forward of the ball. The Bombers, they're looking for a spark here as the Giants have got back close. Kelly wins it on the outer side. A little errant handball. Fantasia should pick it up in the grass. He does. Goes backward to McKenna. Had time to fumble. Goes to Goddard. He wants to come inboard. Lockie Whitfield read it really well. Now Ambrose. Now Stewart. They can run. Cameron will cut it off at half forward for GWS. Brought down in a good tackle. Heppel didn't panic. Now Dev Smith, and he delivers to McKernan on the logo.
McKernan goes long towards a 50-50. Stringer v. Core. He's given away the free kick. Has Core. Stringer will take it. He doesn't realise he's left the footy 5 metres over the boundary line. Go back and get the footy, Jake.
It's not a good time for your decision when the player whose free kick it is doesn't even ask your free kick.
No, not a screaming endorsement, is it? So, Jake Stringer. He's been awarded the free kick right on the arc, so he'll have to launch this 55. Have not seen a lot of him tonight. The man once named the parcel, or the package rather. I think his teammates started calling him the parcel. He's at the Bombers now after a premiership at the Western Bulldogs. He, Devon Smith, Adam Sard, the 3 big off-season recruits, probably had their best collective game for the club last week in that win against Geelong. This is an important one. He launches. It needs the distance. It's not going to get there. It falls short, and a good mark taken by Timmy Moore, 5 metres out from the goal line.
So 3 goals to 1 this quarter for GWS. They trail it now by 2 points. 38 plays 36 to the visitors as they transfer Western side. And a very good defensive effort there from Guelphy. Got the ball out of play. We'll have a throw in. Half back for the Bombers. Western side of the ground. Not sure how Luffy's asthma's going. We'll check in with him in just a moment for Bob Jane T-Marts. Ball back into play. Little deft tap down was clever. McGrath, he wants Heppel's left side. He's got him now. Puts the left slipper into it towards half forward. Bunting was the flyer. Comes to the front. Errant shot at goal. That was from Stringer. And it'll be a minor score for the Bombers. They move to 3 points adrift. They're 39. The Giants are 36 on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
So a 3-point margin in favour of the Bombers. Under 7 minutes to play in the first half at Spotless Stadium. Patton could have been paid the mark. Umpire said play on, just lacking the confidence to really clunk those ones as McKernan sells some candy. That's not a man lacking confidence. Cornelio handballs back to Whitfield in his 100th game. He went back to Cornelio.
Great pressure, Essendon.
He handballed it straight back to his former teammate Dev Smith. Ward, scrubbing kick. This all happening on the left half forward for the Bombers. McKernan pops it up. The fly will come from Stewart. Oh, he's absolutely cooked it. And he's given it back to Zaharakis. David Zaharakis flying shot. And a good mark taken by the string man. 15 metres out. 45-degree angle. Brownie, that passage of play probably won't be in the highlights reel.
No, but it was a nice mark by Stringer, one-on-one. I thought Matty Buntine needed to come third man in and spoil that over the boundary line. He elected not to and allowed his teammate to do the one-on-one work, and Stringer just had a good run and jump at it.
Jake Stringer, I thought he found his effort last week. Brownie disagreed. Thought he wasn't as good as everyone said in the win against Geelong, but that doesn't matter because he's on the board. He kicks the Bombers 7th. They move to 45. It's a 9-point margin over the Giants. Late stages, second term, Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. It's Beaumont's Trade Club for Australia's best tradie rewards.
Well, they got that through pure work rate, the Bombers, and their tackle pressure. GWS trying to handball out of trouble all the time, and they're just being able to knock that down, the Bombers, time and time again. 42 tackles so far. We've still got 5.5 minutes to go, so you'd think they'd crack the 50 tackle mark for half-time. On track for 100 in these conditions, which is pretty good at this ground against this opponent. So the Bombers' tackle pressure is fever pitch.
28 minutes in, second term. Triple M Seabus Super Special Comments. Nathan Brown with us this evening. Seabus Super for everyone in building, in and construction. For the Big Mac, Triple M Rocks footy. Essendon, they just push it forward again. That's clever. Coming up was Laverde. Quick give. They wants Heppel, and now Langdon on the outer wing. Good smother. That came from Hopper. Spills back to Langdon. Little chip forward. And he's got Zaharakis on the outer side.
Zaharakis lowers the eyes. Tip and Woody was the target. That was optimistic. A couple of Giants spoiled each other. Stringer handball to Bell Chambers over the top. The big ruckman's dropped it. And he's sat on top by a couple of Giants. We have a ball up 20 metres out directly in front of the Bombers' goal. Down in Geelong, it's the Cats by 15. Late stages, second quarter.
45 plays 36 here. On the Giants, on the back of 3 goals to 2 so far this term. Langdon caught in a good tackle. He's ripped off it. McKenna come through full-chested. Just tries to shovel the footy out. All this happening at half-forward for the Bombers. That was clever by Himmelberg. He was clean down low. Cornelio, the Western Australian, round the body big. Patton has to bend down low. Sweeps a handball. They got the +1. Now he's sure. Errant handball. Langdon to cut it off. But Himmelberg smothers the handball. And we'll get a throw in on the outer wing. 7-3-45 Bombers, 5-6-36 Giants in the shadows of half-time.
I know it's their game plan to handball out of trouble. It must be the Giants because they overdo it time and time again. They want to get those quick chain of handballs out and then get a free player. But sometimes you just got to get on the boot. When the pressure's hot like it is tonight, much better to get on the boot.
Two-time All-Australian Nathan Brown on the Triple M Seabus Super Special Comments this evening. Seabus Super for everyone in building and construction. And just a little bit of insight, boys, as Heppel sends it inside the Bombers forward 50. Stringer's out. He couldn't quite get to the fore. The footy, Core and Haynes, they're being chased by Tip and Woody, which means they're under pressure. Haynes clears the defensive territory and a good mark by Langdon, just backward of centre for the Giants. I'm hearing that this smoky haze is actually due to a bushfire. It's about 25 clicks west of here. Nothing to worry about. We can certainly stay put, but looks like the haze will be here for the rest of the evening.
So 9 points from Triple M Beaumont Tiles scoreboard. It's Beaumont's trade club for Australia's best tradie rewards as the Giants just work it forward western side.
Luffy's gone with the, he's been told it's some burning off.
Well,
some back burning.
Now, well, don't worry about the facts getting in the road of a good story. They go forward again, the Giants. They won at half-back. A little high ball. That was from Stewart. He wants the boundary line, but coming through full-chested was Guelphy, and he marks at half-back for the Bombers. A little chipping ball. That's not best process because he showed too much of it to Griffin, and Griffin marks at half-forward.
Luffy and I have different sources, Brownie. As Griffin sends it in. Big pack forms, top of the goal square for the Giants. They'd love a goal here. Cal Ward gets it to Hopper. He drops the footy on hands and knees with Smith. Heppel's there as well. And we'll have a ball up. 45 out from the Giants' goal. They trail by 9 points. 3 minutes to play second term. Triple M Beaumont Tiles scoreboard.
45 plays 36. The Bombers with their snouts in front. Griffin now a chance. 55 from home. A sweeping handball to Kelly. Wants his left side. Pressure comes. Goes with a spiral. Torpedo towards full forward. Look at Patton come right through. Forces the turnover and comes through the other way was Langford. He goes backwards. Now Merritt can clear for the Bombers to the outer side.
Continuing to go in with the long ball inside forward 50 at the moment. The Giants, it's not working for them. Time and time again, it's just a long kick in. They expect Patton or Cameron or Himmelberg to take a big mark. It's a bit dewy out there. There'd be a not wet underfoot, but it'd be slippery at the moment. Hard to take those big marks on a night like tonight.
And it makes life pretty easier for Cale Hooker and Ambrose and the other Bomber defenders. Boundary throw in right half forward for the Giants. Hopper wrapped up in a big tackle. The umpires paid a mark, and that ball, as you said, Brad, probably didn't travel the required distance. Cal Ward is going to get hunted down by Tipper. Oh, he got the handball away, and the Bombers have cleared through a soccer kick, and Heath Shaw and Harry Himmelberg should work together to rebound.
Yeah, Himmelberg does the shepherding. Well, he has to go for it now. Heath Shaw, he gives it by hand to Himmelberg. He throws a low dart up the line towards Kelly. McKenna was clever. He used the body early and got the ball out of play. So we await a throw in. Bombers 45, Giants 36. as we approach the 28-minute mark of the second term. Hazy conditions here in Sydney. Ball spins back into play now. Western half forward for the Giants. There's an infringement in the rucking contest. Is there? Yes, there is, and it'll be a free kick going to Rory Lobb.
So the big lobster
hasn't had a big impact to date.
No, he's been hobbled by injury somewhat this year, as most of the Giants have. Again, Brownie, there it is, the dump kick inside forward 50. Made life easy for Goddard, didn't take the mark, brought it to ground. Patton throwing his sizable backside around the contest. Merritt, he'll be happy to have scored it over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in.
But if they don't mark it, the thing is, defenders and midfielders get back in numbers, so they're always going to outnumber the forwards with defenders. So it's probably a 10-on-6 situation by the time it becomes the ground. You've got 4 extra numbers. Of course, you're going to be able to clear it or get it to the boundary line.
Cats by 14 down at the Cattery in the other match tonight. As the ball goes back out of play, Hopper and Kelly.
Chip it around the arc, try and find a different way in, because at the moment what they're doing isn't working. So, you know, it's an old saying, you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So you need a little bit of a different method.
9 points to the Bombers. Throw in half forward for GWS.
Lob, Bell Chambers. Kelly sends it inside 50 again. Hooker and Patton engage in the wrestle. Hooker wins out, gives it to Sard. We expect him to take a bounce. He opts for the kick on this occasion, and almost a good mark taken there by Ridley. Haven't seen as much of the youngster in his second game of footy. Core lays a tackle. Umpire poised with the whistle to his mouth. Surely he's got to blow it eventually. The boundary line does the work for him. We'll have a boundary line where the arc meets the boundary, outer side of the Spotless Stadium. The margin is 9 points in favour of the Bombers.
I've loved Cale Hooker's work tonight. He's completely blanketed Patton at this particular stage. Used his body work. He's been really good.
Been terrific. And he did a really good job on Tom Hawkins as well last week. Tom Hawkins kicked 3 late in the last quarter, which made his stats look okay.
9 points to the good of the Bombers. Zaharakis from half-back goes round the body. Tippenwoody wanted the mark. Umpire said it was a bounce ball. So stalemate happens at half-back. And we'll get a ball up. So, what are we inside the final minute here? 3 goals to 2 this particular term as the Giants go forward, and in the road is Ambrose, and he marks at half-back.
For the Big Mac, Triple M Rocks footy, the new Grand Big Mac is available at McDonald's after 10:30am, which means we can get one on the drive home, Brownie, for a limited time.
Brownie's going home with Luffy, I think.
The Bombers, they're racing the clock. The kick did Jake Stringer no favours, and you don't have to be a body language expert to work out what Jake Stringer thought of that one from Bagley.
Actually having a Big Mac at the Sydney airport when I got in. I don't know whether I can have 2 in a day. So
Timmy Moore with a footy. Just a lateral ball to Tomlinson. 9 points to the good of the Bombers. Pressure's been excellent thus far. Can they sustain it like they did last week?
Be careful of the Giants. 19 seconds to go. They don't want to give up another goal inside the last minute like they did in the first quarter.
So Timmy Moore dumps it down the line. Disputed ball. They pile in from everywhere. And we'll get a ball up at halfback.
So it was a 17-point margin of the Bombers at quarter time. They look like they'll take a 9-point margin into the main break. The Giants have done well in this quarter as Zaharakis gets a kick forward. There is the siren. As I said, a 17-point margin at quarter time. The Giants have fought back. There's a little bit of push and shove on the outer side, Brownie. We'll keep an eye on this. Just the big fellas, Lobb and Bell Chambers, throwing their weight around on the outer side. Oh, Rory Lobb throwing those sizable limbs of his. There's a little bit of jumper punching going on. It's getting a little bit willing at the moment. We'll quickly touch in at Geelong where the Cats by 14 at half-time.
Belcho.
Still going.
Probably saying, did you ever go out with the Miss Australia? Lobby's going, no, I didn't. Let's punch on.
Not many Miss Australias in the mines where Rory Lobb grew up. At half-time, the margin is 9 points in favour of the Bombers. We'll be back to rip this one apart after this. For McDonald's, Triple M Rocks Footy.
Shut up! For the Big Mac, I am loving Triple M Rocks Footy.
Half-time at hazy Spotless Stadium as the bushfire rages out of control. Not far from Spotless Stadium, but it's the visitors by 9 points. Essendon 7-3-45. They lead GWS 5-6 36. A quick round the grounds. Half-time down at the Cattery also. And it's the Cats by 14 points over Carlton. 5-3-33, Carlton 2-7-19. As I turn to my man, the 220-game dual All-Australian, Nathan Brown, with all the Triple M Bosch Tool stats.
If you had a look at the stats just purely on numbers, you'd say the Giants are up by 6 goals because they've had 15 more disposals. They've won the contested footy. They've won the uncontested footy. Inside 50s, they're +6, and their clearances are just a little bit down. So you look at that, you think, oh, they're going okay. But the Bombers have out-tackled them, and they've put enormous pressure on them. So a lot of these stats you're seeing from the Giants, and a lot of handballs, 81 handballs at half-time, have all been under pressure. And they try and handball their way out of pressure, which is really hurting them. Numbers-wise, Canelio, 22 disposals, 7 clearances, kicked a goal. Callum Ward's had 18. Then you got Shaw and Hopper on 13 apiece. For the Bombers, Dyson Heppel, 18 disposals with 7 clearances. Zach Merritt, 16 with 5 clearances. Zaharakis had 13, and Goddard has had 12. Goal scorers, Bagley's kicked 2. Fantasia, McGrath, Stringer, Langford and Goddard all have 1 apiece. And for the Giants, Buckley has 1, Langdon has 1, Cameron has 1, and Ryan, Griffin, Canelio all have 1 apiece.
The new Grand Big Mac is available at McDonald's after 10:30 for a limited time for the Big Mac Triple M Rocks footy. This is the half-time break. Brownie with the Bosch Power Tools and Accessories. Good, better Bosch. As I turn to you, Luffy. Luffy, your thoughts and an injury update, please.
Firstly, just a quick one on Nick Haynes. He came off in that first quarter. They took his boot off. They had to re-strap it. He obviously has some sort of ongoing issue with that.
Was this the double tape gate?
They already taped it once and they've re-taped it again. So he's had the double tape going on
Like
there.
a twice-cooked duck.
Yeah, something like that. And because his very next kick, he actually pulled the kick and grimaced. So I don't think he's had too many kicks, Brownie. You could probably tell me that because he is worried about his right ankle. And I guess if you ask opinion of me what I think, how the game's gone, and it was proven in the first quarter what pressure does to the opposition. And GWS don't like pressure. We know that. They want to run the ball through the centre continually with handballs. And it's not only the tackle stat that you can see on there, just simple 1% pressure, just knocking of the arms as they go to handball, that little bump to put them off as they go to take a mark. And as soon as they stopped, or not stopped, but they released a little bit of that pressure, GWS got a bit of a run on. We know how good the Giants are when they can get clean delivery.
We talk about structure a lot. We talk about set plays and attacking off half-back and playing a spare man behind. How about just old-fashioned desire and effort, putting the overalls on and winning the one-on-ones, and when the opposition get it, you go as hard as you can to tackle them. That's what we've seen from the Bombers.
Yeah.
They lead it by 9 points. They lead it by 17 points at quarter time. To GWS, just quickly, the biggest scalp that they've taken, arguably, at the start of this round was Collingwood, and they sat in 10th position. They've lost each of their 4 matches also to sides inside the top 8. Just going. They're coughing and spluttering at the moment.
They are just going. I thought their second quarter was pretty impressive without hurting them too much on the scoreboard. They did kick the 3 goals in that quarter, but had another opportunities, and they bombed the ball. And the 2 things they got problem at the moment with GWS is when they get the footy, and they're getting a lot of it, is their overuse of the handball. And that's obviously the game plan. That's the way they're instructed to play, because they wouldn't continually do it if they didn't think it was working. So it's very hard for then to say, why don't we just kick it out of congestion? Why don't we kick it and get some yardage? Because that's the way they haven't trained that.
But they've lacked that bit of continuity, haven't they?
Yeah. They've trained all pre-season, all summer, and they all train now to handball quickly out of packs, get free, and then we find the target. It's not working because the Bombers are putting pressure on.
It's not letting them do it.
And the other thing is the Bombs inside forward 50 to 3 tall players who Bombers get back numbers, bring it to ground, and then it's 10 on 6, and they're struggling to score. So, I mean, they've had 29 inside 50. 60 normally wins you a game of football quite comfortably, but it's the manner in which they're going in.
And the pressure that Jeremy Cameron's been under, it's not one-on-one marking contests, it's 1-on-2, 1-on-3. Jonathan Patton's form hasn't been great, and Brown, if you can tell me how many marks Patton's had, I think he's had maybe 1 or 2. He's had a couple of kicks. He certainly isn't a danger up forward, and they really do miss Toby Green. That other one that at the fall of the ball, he kicks a lot of goals from the front and squares. They're really missing him.
I'm not sure if they've had opportunity in their final disposal inside forward 50. Not a shallow entry, but a deep entry hasn't been all that clean.
No, it has been bombed, it has, Brownie said, because of the pressure. They haven't been able to do what they normally do, GWS. Right, I think the only really easy one they had was when Whitfield, they cut off in the middle, Whitfield found Patton on his own. That's about the only clean inside 50.
In saying that, there is zero movement inside that forward 50 from GWS as well, so it doesn't garner the interest of a midfielder running down to go, well, there's someone in my vision there moving, I'm going to go there. It is stay at home, kick it long, we'll do the rest.
Hope
so,
the best.
I mean, it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other.
Rory Lobb needs to go down there as well. He often does go down there and take a mark, but we haven't seen him down there, sitting in the goal square, put it up. He's a very hard man to stop when the ball is put out in front of him.
All right, Brownie, just offer a little tease for us. The Triple M Best on Ground Award. Thanks for Just for Men. Gets rid of hair in 5 easy minutes. I know this because I've done it. Just visit justformen.com.au to learn more. I'll come back to you in just a minute. It's half-time down at the Cattery too, and it's the Cats by 14 points, 5-3-33 to Carlton, 2-7-19. If you've just joined us here, half-time at a hazy spotless, and it is Essendon by 9 points. Who have you liked so far, Brownie?
Heppel's been outstanding. 8 clearances to go with his 18 disposals. He set the tone for the Bombers. Zach Merritt as well. He'd be in my votes at the moment. And Cornelio has been the best player for the Giants. Although Kelly started to get really going in that second term. I think he had 9 disposals in that second term to go to 12 at half-time.
All right, nice work, Brownie. Don't forget Macca's Kick to Kick. Brought back Kick to the ground into selected matches this year, including here tonight. Bring your footy to the footy for Macca's Kick to Kick. Half-time here. It's the Bombers by 9 points.